What's going on, noisy neighbors out there? It's your boy, Big Boy Noise. This is part four. This is gonna be the sad one, guys. This is part four of first time firearm encounters. This is where we're going to finalize the series, okay, and end it off. Um, we're gonna be touching on two firearms will be mentioned for sure in this story, and that is, well, actually, three firearms will be mentioned. A 9 millimeter, one of my first encounters with a 9 millimeter, um, a 40 cal, and a Mac 10. Okay, so um, this is an interesting one and it's a sad one. But a lot of it is revolving around a friend who was like a brother to me. Like I said, names and stuff like that can be changed to protect said individuals. It's like when you hear a story based when you hear like see a movie based on a true story, except for this is too true of a story, and it really hits home with me, and it's really even hard to tell the story, and it's really sad. But actually, you're going to also hear about 32, 32 revolver. Um, 32 revolver is going to be mentioned in this story also. And the weird thing is, all of these stories are going to revolve around my homie. Uh, Bless his soul, rest in peace. Um, we're gonna call for the story. We're gonna call him Kurt. Okay, we're gonna call him Kurt, my man Kurt. Um, uh, man, let's just start with. Okay, it's tough, guys. Y'all work with me. Let's start with the this guy. First of all, my man Kirk was just a heck of a guy, a heck of a friend, like a brother, a hell of a friend. And but he was an antagonizer. He was the type to get his kicks off of like irritating people, like but in a playing way. It was always wild. I mean, me and him fought twice. Yeah, we won both. One, two. We fought twice when I was a kid. You know, he lived around the corner, and he would just type of person that just could irritate you. And he was funny because when we fought, the thing about him, he was very unorthodox, wild ball. He puts his head down and throws this wild like overhand punch. But I mean, he throws them things, and his head is down. But it was like them things are coming from the Himalayas. You know what I mean? With a little sting on them, so you got to block them. And being tall, I was taller, so it was like none of them really caught me. But them things was like, you know how like you fight somebody, you gotta wait to get in because them things just come like whoop whoop, and you know he wild. But then I timed it, they got in there, boop 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 boop, with some little combos or whatever. But he was the type that I ended up having to fight him because it's like in my mind I already knew I could beat him, but it was like, dude, go ahead. Why you always whenever you come around you like starting people talking trash? Yeah, yeah, bitches, yeah, blah blah blah. But then he was the type to just do stuff or throw something at you and then run. He wasn't like Dirt wasn't a bully, so Kurt wasn't a bully. You know what I mean? Kurt got his kicks off of bothering people. And he wasn't afraid to fight, but I mean, I'm telling you, the thing about it, they say like never hit a woman. He wasn't the type to hit a woman. But what's so funny is, y'all gonna laugh at this story. Coming up when he was young, he used to fight girls because remember, he messes with everybody, but he didn't fight them in like a beating them up kind of way, but they would be rolling on him like girls would be like, but he would like grab their hair, like be like trying to like get loose and stuff like that. It would just be like a big melee, but it was all because like he'll talk about him and mess with him, tease him for like an hour. Girls are gonna go back and forth more than the men, but he could bother anybody until they were angry. You know what I mean? And I've just seen many times girls hated him, but some of them loved him at the same time. You know what I mean? But like he just went around having fun, bothering people, man. And I don't even know how we went from fight to just becoming good friends. As I got an understanding of this guy, he had the best mom in the world, best mom in the world. His dad was a police officer. Well, his stepdad was a police officer. Now, check this out. This is funny. We're going to bring you into his home. We're going to bring you into the introduction to the nine. Whenever he would be in a mood, we'd be kids at his crib having fun or whatever. So it's like we might be eating snacks or eating, Pop Tarts, or like he'd go upstairs or something like that, and we like me and my homies we like go in his kitchen and like eat extra Pop Tarts or just do something like he tell us like y'all can have some of those, but don't touch those. So we just go in the kitchen. You know what you're gonna do when he go upstairs or go to the bathroom. Up there, everybody go touch the food that he told you not to touch. This is just the way it was coming up. You talking about middle schoolers, man. You know what I mean? Middle schoolers coming up and going before high school, coming up, started at elementary when me and him was fighting elementary school age, but middle schoolers, by the time we was middle school, we was all like brothers. And he's telling you what not to touch and then you go and eat it anyway and stuff like that. So when he get mad or we tease him, we just would just talk bust on each other all day long. So when he would get mad, he would go to his stepdad would be off on duty somewhere, but he would go to his stepdad's room and we would know what he'd be like, all right, y'all want to play? We had fun what he going to go get. And then we just run out. He come running, chasing us with the 9. He would go get the 9. It was a nice 9. When I think about the way it looked at now, it was more like it had safety switch on. I think it was more of like it was an old school 9. I'm thinking it was more along the lines of like I used to say the 9. I don't think it was a Glock though. It wasn't a Glock. I think it was more along the lines of like a Smith and Wesson. I'm gonna go with it being a Smith and Wesson, like like an M&P, like an old school Smith and Wesson, or maybe like the Sig, or old school Sig 226 police gun. But it was an all black, and this was back when 9s were like very limited. They were like a new gun. They were fairly new gun. It was like you didn't see a nice 9 all the time. But I mean, you knew he wasn't going to shoot you, but you just had to run. It's like, yo, he gonna go get the 9. It was all a joke. But it's like, yo, you chasing me around with that 9. What if it go off? Like, and he would do this on numerous occasions. You know what I mean? That was my guy. He would never shoot at us like that. We'd be at his house the next day or 2 days later, like, yo, I'm gonna fuck you up when I see you. That was part of the game. You know what I mean? It was part of the game, bro. So that was the introduction. One of my first introductions, first encounters with a 9mm. And also, I want to talk about. Remember, I was talking about the revolvers and the Danger revolver, playing around with hammers. I think it's probably one of the reasons I don't mess around too much. Remember, I told y'all this 1911. I don't play around. I don't do too much playing around with the hammer stuff as I play with it now, right? But anyway, I don't do too much of that. But just to show you guys, the firearm is clear. But I don't do too much of that playing around with the hammer stuff, guys. I just don't. I think it's a stigma. Just I've seen too much young growing up. But anyway, let's get back to the story, right? Get back to the story. I don't know where he got. That's where we got it from. He had got this old 32, little short, little beat up revolver. It could fit in your pocket. It was the teeniest little thing. It looked like it didn't even work. This old silver, just old, ancient, beat up little, small little 32. Y'all know that's a different caliber. That's an old school caliber right there. 32. Look them up. 32 revolver. A small little silver 32. But he's playing around. We up in his room. I think we hooky in school. Me, like 3 or 4 of my other homies up there. And just the whole morning, like I said, I had firearm education from a young age, you know. So I'm just always just like, yo, be careful with that gun. Stop playing, yo. Stop playing around with that gun, man. We trying to play video games. And I'm just looking over and I'm seeing him. Now, him and another one of my homies, my man, they used to really like just wrestle with each other all the time. Like they was like an ongoing rivalry. Before like I fought them twice before they became cool. They were like if me and Dirk was like brothers, me and Kurt was like brothers. They were like twins. Okay, same side. I mean, just like they were like twins. They did everything together. They did everything together. You know what I'm saying? So he playing around, pointing the 32 at my man leg, cocking it back. They all on the bed, 3 of them sitting on the bed. We all playing video games. I'm over here on a chair, but they playing around like, yo, man, you gotta chill with that, man. You know what I mean? We might have all been like smoking some weed. Who knows what was going on? But he's cocking it back, playing around. I think he had got it from his brother, this old 32. His brother was like always in and out of jail. His brother was really crazy. But anyway, next thing you know, he playing around, playing with the hammer, cocking it back and pointing it at my man. That thing went off. Bow! Thank God they was wrestling, acting stupid. They laughing, acting dumb. But that thing goes off. Bow! Thank God it didn't hit my man in the leg and hit into the bed. But it could have shot my man right in the side. I'm talking about the high thigh too. And I was just like, yo, Like, come on, man. I told y'all. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, dude, like anybody in that room could have got shot. And that's the seriousness about these firearms. They not to be played around with and all that type of stuff, muzzle sweeping people. That's why I take firearm safety so serious, okay? But yeah, that was my man Kurt. That was another story. The 32 revolver involving Kurt. The 9mm involving my man Kurt. And then my man Kurt, another one um that involved a man was the Mac 10. Okay. The Mac 10, guys, you already know how the Mac 10 looks. I'm talking about the Mac 10 was the scar heavy of the like 80s or the early 90s. The Mac 10 was like yeah, you know, like the scar heavy is like the most, like how it's one of the most order scar, like the most coveted um rifle or just machine gun style. Just incredible, right? Well, the Mac 10 was that in the early 90s, okay? The Mac 10. Somehow, my man Kurt, I think back in the day through his cousins, like I told you, firearms are all in the community, got a hold of a Mac 10. Now, here's a funny story. Now, mind you guys, like I said, remember, my man Kurt, he was not a killer. That wasn't what he was about. He was about having fun. He will fight you, but he was always about antagonizing people. So, but anyway, back in the days, people would hustle and stuff like that. And then you had some corners that were organized where it was like, this is the crew that hustles on this corner, and that's going to be respected. Period. Nobody else hustling here. And then you had some corners where people from all over could just come and hustle. It was like freestyle corners. People running up, competing for the sale. It just was getting like, it was just wow, like the Wild Wild West. And so, um, that was like an area where a lot of people would hang. And he ended up antagonizing a guy who in that area, I guess. Um, you know how it is. Everybody in the same area, same hood, stuff like that. But I guess a guy, he just was antagonizing a guy because I think the guy got beat up, or a guy got beat up, and he just, you know, what Kurt is going to do, he's going to laugh at you, he's going to antagonize you. You ain't say that to him when he beat you up, or something. I think the argument could have started over a cell. Yo, that was my cell, or something like that, or just being mad because one person is doing something that the other one isn't, making money and the other one isn't, or whatever. But it just got to an argument, just an argument. But it just what he do. But he, of course, you know, back in the day, like, you ain't say all that, what you call it, when he beat you up, you know, blah, blah, blah. Nah, this was what it was, what we came up about when we was young. I mean, guns were involved and they came involved as we grew up, but back in the day, this is what made you a man, if you stand your ground, okay? So they didn't fight it, but he just was talking about them all that day, you know, just talking about them, I guess, while they were out there, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, like I told you also, this is based on a true story. Some of the stuff, details could be altered and changed a little bit to save the freedoms of, say, the freedom and safety of said individuals. Disclaimer. But anyway, the guy took it so hard. My man Kurt would get to you so bad, made him so mad, but the guy took it to heart on a level that was like, dude, you could have rumbled him. Y'all could have rumbled right there. Y'all the same size. You know, whatever, right? And the guy held that bitterness, you know, and long story short, things just really escalated. Okay, and long story short, that introduces the caliber. Man, this is a weird story how it's turning, but that's where the 40 caliber comes into play in this story. The 40 cal, the guy. Oh man, 40 cal, 40 cal. My first pistol, first firearm, and that's why it was so hard for me to purchase. In the beginning, I never went to. I might have shared that story with you guys before. It was so hard for me to get the words of my mouth and buy a 40 cal because I knew what this caliber had done. So the guys out there with a 40 cal, mind you, you know, the story is everybody's all around in the same area. So the guys out there with a 40 cal, my man Dirt, he had a Mac, but He wasn't. I hear he didn't. He wasn't a killer. He wasn't like expecting anything. But you know how back in the day you have a firearm on yourself just to protect yourself from what somebody else might do. But the sad story is he had a Mac, his Mac 10. My man Kurt. He went to make a sell or something like that out there, and he left his Mac 10 on the car in the car. Cause I mean it's with him, but he ain't really thinking nothing. And at that moment, he left his Mac 10 in the car. The guy came up on him with the 40 cal and took his life. Yeah, took my homie life. Yep. I never forget getting a phone call. I was out of the streets. I was at my girl's house, who's my now wife. This is how long ago this was. I was probably, I had to be about 22 maybe when I got the news. Get the call. Maybe I was 20. No, at least 22. Got the call like, yo, you know, it's a long story. Yo, the boy killed Kirk, or Kirk got killed by some boy, or something like that. Got that story. I just never forget. Like, what? I never forget the shock and the hurt I felt. You know, and my man Kirk, my man Kurt, he died from a 40 cal. I don't know if it was a Glock. This is when 40 cal was the brand new calibers. Like you never even seen a 40 cal. This is when 40 cal was super brand new. It was just getting introduced. I think the police force, it was just starting to get introduced, the 40 cal. Back when it first, actually it probably was like the first 40 cal encounter that I've ever even heard of. I had heard about the 40 cal, that it was a serious firearm, but it was the first one, actual 40 cal, that I ever heard of. Some guy got a hold of a 40 cal and killed my man Dirt, and my man Kurt, killed my man Kurt. And he could have just rumbled him, you know what I mean? Kurt didn't want no trouble like that. If Kurt wanted trouble, he would have came out there looking for, Kurt came out there to hustle. You know what I mean? He wasn't looking for no trouble, but he wasn't gonna let nobody kill him, but he got caught with his gun, but it wasn't where it needed to be. It wasn't on him. Wasn't, would it be in a Mac? That's why I always say a pistol was better than a rifle. In a Mac 10, I know a Mac 10 is not a rifle, but it's like bigger. It's something that you just can't put in your pocket and go make it. So it's just big and bulky. You know what I mean? So yeah, I say a pistol. That's why I always say a pistol was better than all of the stuff you see up there in my eyes, because a pistol is like a pair of denim jeans. You can take it everywhere you go. And rest in peace to my homie Kurt. He died with his Mac 10 inside the vehicle, inside his car. But he wasn't inside the car. He was outside the car. Okay. And then the guy came up. I know, just blew his mind. Like, wow, this really dude really murdering me over me playing around or a shouting match or whatever. And I never forget. There's a lyric in one of my songs. I say, rumbling my man Kurt. He used to start with me, but I never pictured him in a casket. They could have rumbled him like I did. That shit was drastic. I heard he had his Mac, but he didn't get to blast it. When I went and looked over his casket, he had the type of look like he wanted to say what happened. And that's the truth. He had to look like he wanted to be like, yo, get this motherfucker. That's what the fuck happened. I ain't gonna believe this shit. He had this look. You know that look on your face where you yo. He had that look like he couldn't. I never forget that. It wasn't a look of it wasn't a look. It wasn't a look of peace. It was a look of like pissed offness. Like, this cat, really? That's what the look was. And I'm hugging his mom, and I'm still in touch with his mom to this day. I ain't talked to her in a few years, but once my son was born, she got to meet my son, gave him Christmas money. He was just a baby, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that's the story of how I was introduced to the 40 cal. And it took me a while to mentally get past that trauma to even be able to embrace the 40 caliber. But it actually was my first pistol. But now, one of the funny stories, going back to the Mac 10 and my homie Kurt, um, one of the funny stories. My man Kurt, before he got murdered, when he first he got the Mac, I remember him riding around showing people with his showing it to people like, "Oh boy, that thing is nice" or whatever, right? But it was like, remember I was telling you about in, this, in that same area. Remember I was telling you about the area that's like the Wild West where people just was like anybody was selling. There was no organization, you know what I mean? And it was some guy from out of the neighborhood, and I think he was being told, I don't know the story is, he was being told that you can't sell out here, but it was like, I guess the guy was noticing that like everybody sold out there. He would come visit people who lived in that area and they were selling, so he felt like he was cool to go and sell his stuff out there, whether it was whatever it was, whatever drug, whatever it was, or whatever. So he was being told he couldn't sell out there. So I guess like a rivalry kicked off between him and my homie Kirk or whatever, you know what I mean? Uh, in that Wild West area or whatever. And it was funny, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I remember I was over somebody's house playing a video game, and then you hear a blah, one hard shot, right? And then you hear and we all went to the door, and this big dude. Now, mind you, the guy was big, way bigger than Dirk. The guy was like way bigger than Kurt. The guy was way bigger than Kurt. Big guy. You hear like like um, he's laying there on the street. It's like nobody outside, but he's laying there in the street like, he shot me. He shot me in the leg or whatever. So allegedly, my man Kurt told you my man Kurt wasn't killed. He shot him in the leg though. But the story was he ran up, even being big, he ran up and he didn't know. I guess that day Kirk had a coat on or whatever. He had the Mac on him though somehow, and the guy ran up. You know what? I think Kirk probably had one arm out the jacket and out the coat, but however, he had the Mac on him, and the guy ran up and bear hugged him from the back like, "I got him, y'all, I got him." You know what I mean? The boy was just the dude didn't know who was in the area. He was just in the area. He just dude put himself in the danger zone. He goes up bear hugging Dirt. So somehow Dirt pulls out the Mac and just bow shoots the guy like in the leg. The guy dropped him real quick then. It then dropped to the ground. Dirt, Kurt, whatever you want to call him. We could call him Dirt, Kurt, whatever you want to call him for the story, guys. But he took off. Took off running, you know what I mean? Like if Kirk was a murderer, killer, Kirk, like I said, used to more likely he was probably out there antagonizing the guy, made the guy real mad or whatever, you know what I mean? But this is one of the funniest stories of the Mac 10. Kirk hit him in the leg with that Mac, man. And didn't stand over him and kill him or nothing like that. No, man. Kirk, that wasn't who he was, you know what I mean? And then just ran off like, yo, you came up and bear hugged me, grabbed me for other people to come and get me or whatever. So that happened. You got me on air because this dude was big. You got me on air. Then all of a sudden you just hear, bah, could you imagine that? You thinking you got somebody there, you get holding them and then a hole go through like, bah, like, yo. That's what I'm saying, guys. I'll tell you, man, the Mac 10. Well, yeah, rest in peace to Kirk. Oh man, that's my encounter of the Mac 10. It felt good. I thank God that I was able to tell this story in a way that I was able to end it in laughter to get over the sadness part. To be able to end it in laughter was a good thing off of one of the funnier stories of my man, Kirk. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. Bless his soul, man. I believe he was no older when he passed away. He was no older than 21. No older than 21, 22 at the most. 21, 22 at the most. But yeah, that's what happens where I'm from. Them firearms get all into the neighborhoods, and look fast forward 20 plus years, look fast forward 25 years to this day in time, and look how firearms are even crazier all through the ghettos. So Be careful if you live in the ghetto. Be very careful. If you could get your license to carry, get your license to carry. Stay out of the trouble. Of course, you don't want to antagonize people, especially in this day and time, like my man Kirk did. You don't want to antagonize people and irritate people and stuff like that. You know, even though he was doing it, it was for fun for him. But you don't want to go that route. People will kill you. People are crazy. People have all type of issues. You know what I mean? But this is a very long video. But hey, guys, at least this is the end. This is the end for the first time firearm encounters. This is part 4. I hope you guys enjoyed the stories, guys. I really poured out a lot of emotion in these stories, and I think we covered a lot of calibers. All right. So until next time, guys, you know I love y'all. Your boy, Big Boy Noise. Guys, make sure your poly ammo payments are in by Friday. This Friday, okay? Friday the 19th. Make sure they in. My guy, Eyes and Ears Tactical, will be receiving his $105 poly ammo pot. And if anybody out there wants to join the poly ammo, you simply Cash App # Big Boys Noise. You Cash App $15. It's every 2 weeks. You Cash App your $15 to # Big Boy Noise, and I'll look you over. Make sure you're not a psycho. Just let me know your YouTube page name or whatever, or whoever you are, and I'll put you right into the cycle, man. Every 2 weeks, one of us receive $105. Right now, it's 7 of us. And every 2 weeks, 7 of us in a poly ammo crew. Shout out to the whole poly ammo crew. Every 2 weeks, one of us receive $105 to get firearm ammo, different needs, things that we like, you know, our fun hobby, you know what I mean, to help us with our fun hobby, to help us with our trigger time, our therapy, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's all you got to do to join the poly ammo crew. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's probably going to take me forever to upload it, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your boy, Big Boy Noise. Out. It's over. It's over. Firearm Encounters is over. Chapter 4. This is it. It's over, guys. Y'all have a blessed one.